This is a 2013 Suzuki RMZ250. This is a race bike. We're going to look at the rear shock, and we're also going to look at the mounting hardware for the shock, what to look for when we're disassembling and assembling this. I've already removed the subframe and the rear and the seat and the airbox to get us access to the shock itself. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the nuts and bolts off. I've already taken the bottom one out, so it'll be easy for us to get to. You slide these out. Generally they're tight. Sometimes you have to lift up on the wheel a little bit to get the bolts loose. Tapping them with a dead blow hammer is okay. Also, never ever ever hit these bolts with a steel hammer if you can possibly help it in any way. So anyway, what we're going to go into is we're going to look at the mounting hardware. We're going to look at the nuts and bolts. We're going to check for galling, scarring, wear and tear. There's a little bit on here. This one isn't too bad. You can take your fingernail and run it over the marks, and if you can catch your fingernail on it, chances are it needs to be replaced. When we pull this out, we're going to look through these holes and check for corrosion, which there is a little bit in there, nothing real major. We're going to look for out of round to make sure that the bevel on the outside is not worn away. We're going to look at the top bracket and check it. The mounting, this is probably stainless steel or hardened steel mounting bracket. What we'll do is we'll look inside and check for corrosion, galling, scarring, any kind of metal transfer in there, and these all look good so far. We're going to look at our frame. We're going to go through the frame and look through these holes also and check those where the bolt comes through the frame, like so. We're going to check those for corrosion, galling, scarring, making sure that they're round and will mount properly. From that point on, while we have the shock off and we can reach everything, we're going to check our chain guides rollers. We're going to check it for sideways play, up and down play. We're going to spin it to make sure it's smooth. We're going to look at our plastic chain guide up the swing arm. We're going to look for wear. We're going to look for runs up and down through here. This one isn't too bad. This one looks pretty good. We might even save it. There's also another chain guide down here. It's a roller type. And we're going to check it for sideways, up and down, and spin it to make sure it's smooth. Now down under here, we've got another mount, the bottom mount for the shock. And what we're going to do, this all comes apart here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it out, look at it, it's lubed real nice. It's still lubricated. There's no corrosion or galling inside of that. We're going to check the spacers, and they all look real good, nice and clean, shiny, no galling, no scarring of any kind. Check both sides for lubrication. Then we're going to clean them and relubricate them, put them back in. There's also a bearing in here, and we're going to stick our fingers in it. We're going to roll it and make sure that it's smooth and clean and not cause a problem. Oh crap. Now since our bearings, it's packed in there, it's a loose pack bearing. It's packed by hand with grease. You take grease and go around the inside of the bearing itself, and then you pack each bearing in by hand. You put your race in and your end caps. It's pinched together with the bolt. The ideal way to do this is on the bench. And the thing is, taking this assembly here apart, this is a fulcrum, a lever. And what happens, you take this bolt and this bolt out. And there's also bearings and races